Whenever dark is falling, you know the spirit of the party starts to come alive until the day is dawning. You can throw out all the blues and hit the city lights, 'cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night, give me the night. You know the key action. A place to dine, a glass of wine, a little late romance. It's a chain reaction. We'll see the people of the world coming out to dance, 'cause there's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night, give me the night. So come on out tonight, and we'll leave the others on a ride to paradise. And if you feel alright, then we can be lovers, 'cause I see that starlight look in your eyes. And don't you know we can fly? Just give me the night, give me the night. There's music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. So give me the night, give me the night. So come on out tonight, and we'll leave the others on a ride through paradise. And if you feel alright.
Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 431st Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Straight away you'll see this is for one of my favourite maps, a Germanic forest map, where we can actually fight in the big open plains, or if you want to plan some nasty ambushes in the woods and bring barbarian troops for the woods advantage that they get, then you got a bit of both worlds here, I think, to be honest. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Lee, and Lee has got he's got 6 infantry, 8 archers and 5 cavalry. Okay, so only 6 infantry, 5 cavalry and 8 arch. We'll have a look at his army a bit later on, as you can see that some of his units are hiding in the woods. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's bought the Greek cities faction, and Steve has got 14 Spartans and 3 long-range Cretan archers. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does with that army during the course of the battle. Okay, our third teammate is Brotherhood member Lando, who's bought the Rome SPQR faction. Now, Lando's got 11 infantry, 4 archers, and 5 cavalry. Okay, so 11 infantry, 4 archers, 5 cavalry. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Okay, you can see he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now we know this cavalry does well with just gold shield, gold attack. You put 2 experience stripes on them and we know that they can make that super cavalry. So it'd be interesting to see how well Lando does with that army. That's a good balanced army there. 4 archers, 11 infantry and 5 well upgraded cavalry. And our fourth teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, and I've got 14 Spartans and 5 of the cheap small range archers there. Okay, so there's our team. But if you notice, Steve and me bringing Greek cities means that straight away we've put our team at a massive cavalry disadvantage. Now, whether the enemy will be able to exploit that disadvantage, we'll just have to see as the battle unfolds. It should be a great one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Lee's army, as a lot of his units were hidden in the woods, as we saw earlier. There you can see, once again, just to reaffirm there, he's only got 6 infantry. Okay, now he's got 7 upgrades on his infantry there. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack, but only 6 infantry. Now we know he's a very aggressive attacking player, but having only 6 infantry, will that blunt his attacking kind of credentials there. Also, if you notice, he's got the old school Roman armoured cavalry general. As I said in other battle videos, we used to use this most of the time, up to about maybe 9 years ago, when most of us switched to an infantry general. So this is genuinely old school. Okay, this is old school use of the armoured general there by Lee, and he's usually very good with the old school armoured general, and it'll be interesting to see how well he does during the course of the battle. Now here's an interesting formation here. Can you see how he's got his archers in that kind of really close, tight formation there? Okay, so he's got all of his 8 archers there in that really close formation. You don't see this very often. In times gone by, we used to see people use formations like this, but this is unusual. Old school again, and he's done the same with his cavalry. Can you see how he's put his cavalry into that really tight, close formation? So as I say, this is, you used to see this quite a bit in years gone by. So this is very old school. Okay, it's very old school with his general, armoured cavalry general, plus that formation there, but with only 6 infantry. It'll be interesting to see how well he does during the course of the battle. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at this old formation of mine. As I say, I made this army maybe 13, 14 years ago, and I used this formation 13 or 14 years ago. And as you can see here, it's got good protection from the flanks. As we know, the flanks are a very vulnerable part of an attack for spears and pikes. And that's why I've slanted, if you like, the 2 units on the flanks there to help protect the flanks. Also, if enemy come around the rear to attack the rear of my formation, I can turn units to face the threat straight away. So this actual formation is not only good for defense, okay, but also when you decide to attack, all that army moves forward in one movement, like a punch into the enemy ranks. So as I say, it's a good defensive formation and a good attacking formation. Now let's look at a more modern Greek city formation here, and as you can see, this is Steve's formation here. Can you see there? This is what I call a modern formation. It's got depth, and it's kind of like in a block formation there. This is also very effective and efficient formation there for defense and attack. So it'll be interesting to see how our 2 Spartan formations do. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Bark, who's bought the Carthage faction. Now Bark has got 17 Sacred Band spearmen and 3 Sacred Band cavalry. Okay, so that's a lot of spearmen he's got there. And if you notice, his cavalry just got 6 upgrades: gold shield, gold attack. So that's a very infantry based army there. It'll be interesting to see how well that does during the course of the battle. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Mars, who has unusually bought the Pontus faction here. So as I think this could well be an experimental army. And Mars has got 12 pikes, 2 archers, 2 chariot archers, and 3 heavy chariots. And look at the upgrades on his battle formation here. Can you see he's just got 6 upgrades on the forward units of his battle formation? As you go further into it, can you see that his next line has got 8 upgrades: 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, but his units at the rear of the battle formation, if you look, are fully upgraded: 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So he's got staggered upgrades through his formation there. So the enemy will attack the forward units. Those units will take the pillars and take the first contact with the enemy. And as the tired enemy troops then fight through those units, they progressively come up against better upgraded troops. Okay, so that's a really nice staggered upgrade formation there by Mars. And bearing in mind this is an experimental army, I think he's done really well there. Okay, so that's a lot of pikemen for our troops to fight through. I see he's just got 2 foot archers there. Okay, and he's got 2 chariot archers there as well. And he's got his 3 heavy scythed chariots, at the back there. Now if we have a look at these heavy scythed chariots here, now these guys have got a fantastic attacking specification, a massive fear factor, taking the morale away from enemy troops, destabilizing them, making them more susceptible to routing. But they can run amok, as we've seen in other battle videos, and if they run amok, they seem to be more powerful than they are in normal mode, and they kill both friend and foe alike. So bringing chariots can be a double-edged sword. It's always a bit of a gamble on bringing chariots, so it'll be interesting to see how well Mars does with those chariots during the course of the battle. Okay, their third teammate is Brotherhood member Trajan. Now Trajan's got 14 infantry, 2 archers, and 4 cavalry. Okay, just like look at his formation here. Can you see how his formation is not so tight as a lot of Roman formations are? Can you see he's got his pilot shield units a long way in front of his main battle formation there? So it's an unusual, I think, battle formation that he's actually got there. And it'd be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. He's got his 4 cavalry hidden in the woods, and his cavalry have got 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, their 4th teammate is Brotherhood member Crypto. And Crypto has bought the Germania faction. Okay, now if you look at the upgrades on his cavalry, you'll see that he's got 8 upgrades. 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. He's also got 7 archers. He's got 3 chosen axemen, 3 berserkers, a knight raider unit, and a screeching woman unit as well. And remember those screeching women, they actually give morale to the Germania troops when they start screeching. So it'll be interesting to see how well Crypto does with his Germania faction there against so many pikes of in our army. So there's the enemy team. It's got the potential to be a great battle, and I really hope you enjoy it. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd just have a little chat about Lando. As we know, Lando is a very aggressive, out-and-out attacking player. Okay, I don't think retreat or withdrawal is within his vocabulary, and he will be looking to attack, as well as Lee. We know that Lee is a very aggressive and attacking player as well. So having them both on our team here, I think that it could be a very aggressive battle right from the start. But remember, Lee has only got 6 infantry. Now that may well blunt his attacking credentials there, having only 6 infantry. Okay, but as we know, both Lando, as I said before, Lando and Lee are both attacking players. Oh. Okay, at this stage of the battle here, you can see Trajan moving his cavalry forward there, looking to target our SPQ, our allies' archers there. But Lando spotted that and has withdrawn his archers. That was a nice little aggressive move there by Trajan. You can see Trajan's got his archers hiding in the woods there. Okay, let's just have a look at our team as we're forming up here. As you can see, Lee's just got his army over to our main armies here. And we'll just have a look at the enemy team here. You can see them forming up as well. It'd be interesting to see if Pontus and Carthage actually team up, because that could be some kind of serious spear and pike attacking there from those two, and they would look like they'd be facing Steve. So as I say, there's a general setup there of both our teams at the moment. And as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if Lando decided to attack pretty soon. Okay, it is still a very early stage of the battle here. You can see that Bark is moving his cavalry forward, those 3 Sacred Band unit cavalry units there to try and take out our SPQ, our archers. Nice aggressive attacking move there by Bark, disrupting and causing casualties to our allies' archers there. I think Lando could see that and has brought his cavalry over there to try and cover his archers from that lightning attack by Bark. But that was a nice aggressive attack there by Bark. Now let's see if Lando's going to carry on chasing down that Sacred Band cavalry, or whether he's going to pull his cavalry back. It looks to me like he's, as I say, his aggressive attacking credentials are always there to see in any of the battles he fights. As you can see, he's taking his cavalry on forward there, and then decided to stop and pull back. But as I say, very attacking player there, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he'd have chased those Sacred Band cavalry down. But maybe pulling back, I think there was probably a good move. Okay, you can see the Germania general has brought his troops out from the woods there at the rear. Let's just have a quick look at those Germania troops. Okay, it looks like he's got 3 chosen axemen. Now remember, those axemen are effective against armour. Those axes they use are effective against armour, and used correctly in coordination with allies there, they can cut wide swathes through heavily armoured troops. You can see he's got his 3 berserker units there as well. And he's got a Knight Raider unit. Now remember, those Knight Raider troops there are good infantry in their own right, but they actually bring a fear factor as well. Okay, and I'd just like to show you the difference between the size of a berserker and an ordinary infantry unit soldier. Can you see the difference in size there? Massive. And remember, those berserkers got massive fear factor. They got effective against armor maces and 2 hit points. Okay, so I think those Germanian troops are kind of like shock troops to me. And also there's a screeching woman unit there as well. Remember, when they start screeching, they give morale to the other Germania troops there. So they're good morale giving troops. So that's a good unit to bring. But as I say, I always think the Germania troops are like shock troops, ready to hit the enemy. Okay, at this still very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Lando has decided to attack, as we thought he may well do. You notice here he's pressing forward onto the enemy Julii army there. and Steve's moved forward onto Lando's flank with his Greek cities unit. And if you notice on the other flank, on Lando's other flank there, I'm moving my Greek cities units there to support his flank as well. Okay, so as I say, as we talked about earlier, Lando, a very aggressive attacking player there, and as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if he pressed home that attack there against the enemy Julii troops there. But as we thought here, can you see that the Carthage units there and Pontus units have kind of teamed up, and they're going to be facing Steve. So that's a lot of serious spears and pikes there that Steve's going to be facing. Right, as we said here, can you see Lando moving his SBQR troops forward there towards the enemy troops? I think there's a lot of enemy archer units there that Lando will be engaging. As you can see, some of those units are already starting to rout. But if you notice, the Pontus and Carthage general there is moving over a little bit there to support their Julii ally. If you notice, can you see that the Carthage general Bark has split his army into two? But if you notice here, you can see that both Steve and myself are supporting Lando. Now, you can see that Brotherhood member Lee is stood at the back here of our formation with his 6 infantry units. He's got Lando's cavalry and his own cavalry at the rear. Now, what I think he's doing there, I think he's trying to watch our archers there from any possible enemy attack. Now, remember, the enemy have got a cavalry and chariot advantage over us. So, and they would love to get in behind us and take out all our archers. Okay, so that's why I think Lee has stood there with his infantry, and he's got, as I say, got Lando and his own cavalry there to protect our archers from any sneaky, if you like, enemy attack on our archers. But as I say, here on our right flank, you can see Steve facing a lot of pikes and a lot of spears. Okay, you can see over here, can you see that Lee's cavalry general there is being chased by that chariot unit there? So Lee's doing well, I think, to move his cavalry general away from that chariot unit there into the safety of his own troops. But meanwhile, over here, you can see, as I say, Steve now is facing the whole of the Pontus army there and half of the Carthage Sacred Band spearmen. So Steve's got a lot on his plate there. You can see that Lando, our SBQ ally, is facing the enemy Julii troops there and some elements of Carthage there as well. As I say, I think Bark has split his army into two, so he can support his allies with a lot of his spearmen there. You can see here Lando moving his cavalry here. It wouldn't surprise me if he moves that cavalry into a flanking position there, threatening, as I say, the enemy flank, making them having to keep an eye on his cavalry, hoping to disrupt their battle formation there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. Now, can you see Lee, his general, is here? Okay, now Lee, I think, is concentrating on other parts of the battlefield at the moment, but look what's approaching the rear of his general unit. Well upgraded Germanic cavalry. Okay, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now they're looking to smash into the rear of Lee's cavalry general there. Okay, make no mistake about this. If they can take out his general, of course, that's going to lower the morale of his troops. And see those cavalry units coming in there, and bang, as they smash into the rear of Lee's general unit there, which routs on impact, and his general probably is going to be killed yet. And his general has now been taken out. That was a nice hit there by the Germanic general there. A nice hit there by Crypto. Meanwhile, over here at the main part of the battlefield, you can see, as I say, poor old Steve here is facing all of the Pontus army plus elements of the Carthage Sacred Band spearmen as well. Let's just pause the game for a second. So, what I'd like to do here is you can see all those long piked Pontus pikemen, as I say, and the Carthage Sacred Band spearmen amongst them. Now look at the length of those Pontus pikes. They are really long, like the Seleucid Macedonians, really long pikes there. And if you look at the difference there, can you see the Spartans' short spears in comparison to the length of those massive pikes? So those Spartans have got to fight all the way down those long pikes of Pontus there to kill the man on the other end. So Steve's really up against a lot of odds there. You can see some Carthage Sacred Band units are engaging Lando's SPQR units backed up by enemy Julii troops there. Plus you got Sacred Band units over here facing my Greek cities. Right, you can see what the Germanic general's doing here. I think he's thinking about taking those Berserker unit and those Chosen Axemen round the flank of my Spartan units there. Okay, do you think that would be a good tactical move to move those Berserkers and effective against armor Axemen round behind my Spearmen? Do you think that's something that you would think about doing there? Would that be a good tactical move or not? We've got a lot of archers behind us there that could shoot at them up quite a lot there, so I don't know whether he'll do that or not. But as I say here, poor old Steve here's got facing all those Pontus troops plus those Carthage Sacred Band spearmen as well. Let's say my formation now is facing Julii troops as well as those Sacred Band units of barks. So there's a general overview of the main part of the battlefield. There's lots happening all over the battlefield during the course of this battle. It's difficult to get everything right. Can you see here Lee's 6 infantry units facing those Germanic cavalry there, those Gothic cavalry, and he's got his own cavalry there as well, defending all our archers. Okay, because remember, archers are like soft targets to enemy cavalry, and that Germanic general, make no mistake, would love to get his cavalry in there to smash and rout all our archers. So Lee's defending our archers there with his cavalry and infantry there at this time. Okay, if you notice here, as we said, Lando's taking his cavalry out to the flank of the enemy formation there. Now, whether he's going to attack those Julii infantry or not, I don't know, but of course the enemy are thinking the same. They're going to have to keep an eye on him, and it could lead to disruption of the enemy formations there, which is what Lando's probably after. But as I say here, you can see Lando's infantry being pressed by Sacred Band units there. I think Lando's general looks to me like he's just been routed, so that's bad for us. You can see the Pontus general. Can you see Mars pushing in with his Pontus pikemen there against Steve's Greek city units? Plus Trajan here using his infantry really well. Good teamwork by Trajan, moving his infantry around the battlefield, helping his allies out where he can. But as I say, you can see Steve here, he's attacking as well. Right, see, Lando has charged his SPQR cavalry, and bang, as they charge in there. I think he was looking for a mass rout of the Pontus pikemen there, but he didn't actually get that. And you can see that the enemy Julii cavalry has counterattacked there. Plus, can you see here, you got the Pontus heavy chariots there, the scythed heavy chariots coming in also to attack Lando's cavalry. So you've got enemy Julii cavalry plus the Pontus chariots there pouring in there onto the flank of Steve's infantry, plus hitting the SPQR cavalry as well. So there's a lot happening here on this flank. As I say, Steve's troops are engaging those Pontus troops and those Sacred Band troops, plus it looks like he's been hit in the flank. Okay, over here on the other flank here, can you see the Germanic general there looking like he's going to take a couple of his berserker units round the rear of my engaged Greek city troops. Okay, so all my Spartans are engaged at the moment, and it looks like the Germanic general is going to take a couple of berserker units round the rear and smash into the rear of my engaged troops. Now, the massive fear factor those berserkers bring, plus they're effective against armor maces there, could well cause a mass rout of my engaged troops. Plus, you've got a lot of the enemy Julii infantry who are not engaged yet. They may well be moved around the flank as well. Okay, but you can see Lando's SPQR troops are under a lot of pressure in our centre. And as I say, Steve is facing all of Pontus plus a lot of units of Carthage Sacred Band. Right, you can see the Pontus chariots charging there with their big fear factor, as well as their big attacking specifications. It wouldn't surprise me if Lando's SPQR cavalry routed. They're being attacked by both chariots and enemy cavalry. And you can see, I think most of Lando's cavalry has now been routed. You see the Germanic general there bringing his cavalry round here, looking to smash into our archers there. Okay, Lee's trying to chase, countering that cavalry there with his infantry. And there you go, the Germanic general, as we said earlier, has now activated his berserkers. Okay, so there's 3 units of berserkers have now been activated. Okay, and they're going to charge into the rear of my engaged Spartan units. Okay, with all that fear factor they're going to bring, they're effective against armor maces with their 2 hit points, and it wouldn't surprise me if they charge into the rear of my general unit there and maybe take my general out. Okay, look at my units there. I'm fighting enemy troops at the front there, but as I say, I'm going to be hitting the rear by those berserker units, so that could cause a mass rout. Lando's SPQR units there are under a lot of pressure in our centre, and Steve here is trying to fight off chariots as well as engaging the Pontus pikemen there, and Trajan's cavalry there over on that side of the battlefield helping his allies as well. So as you can see, there's a general overview. There's lots going on all over the battlefield at the moment. Trying to get everything I can filmed for you there, but there is lots going on all at once. You can see Lee's SBQR cavalry there. He's charged over there to try and neutralise the enemy chariots. But meanwhile there you can see the Germanic general has charged his cavalry in there and has caused a lot of casualties to our archer units. Lee has spotted that and has brought his cavalry over and is moving his infantry over there as well to try and neutralise that attack. Meanwhile here are those 3 berserker units that have charged into the rear of my engaged Spartan units. If you notice, the Julii general very tactically is taking his units around the flank of my Greek cities as well to charge into the rear of my units. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. Right, you can see my general has just been routed, but we've also routed the Carthage general as well. Okay, so that's kind of like neutralised that. Both of us have been neutralised there with 2 enemy, one enemy general and my general being taken out. Okay, but if you notice here, can you see my Spartans? I've killed the enemy that was fighting in front of me, and I'm now being able to turn my Spartans to face the threat of those enemy Julii infantry and those berserker units. Okay, so that's good for me. Don't forget, Lando's SBQR troops have been fighting right from the beginning of the battle there. They're tired and very battle depleted. Meanwhile here you can see Steve is deeply embroiled, if you like, fighting those Pontus long piked pikemen there. So I think Steve's done well against those Carthage Sacred Band and Pontus. Okay, as I say here, I've managed to turn my spearmen, my Spartans now, to face the threat of the enemy attack that was coming in behind me. Okay, yeah, I'm suffering a lot of pilot damage. Remember, Spartans have got 2 hit points, so they suffer less damage from missiles. But as you see here, I'm really pushing forward into those berserker units and into those enemy Julii units at this time. You see the enemy Julii general there throwing in some of his infantry units there, trying to blunt my attack. But also he's throwing units in behind Lando's SBQR troops there. Poor old Lando there, I think he's in a very difficult position there in our centre. Okay, remember Lando is our SBQR ally there, and he's being attacked by Julii troops and Germania troops. Right, let's just pause the game for a second to take stock exactly what's going on. Okay, so behind us, the enemy Julii cavalry and the Germanic cavalry have wreaked havoc. They've routed most of our archers. I think they've taken out a lot of our allies' cavalry, and so their cavalry advantage is now telling, and they are in behind us. Okay, so this is not very good, obviously, for our team there, having enemy cavalry in behind us. They might well smash into the rear of our SBQR ally there. Remember, Lando's been holding out for a long time in our centre, but if he gets smashed in the rear by cavalry, he could well mass rout. If you notice here, Lee's moved his infantry over behind Steve's spearmen there, probably throwing in pilers into those Pontus pikemen. So he's come over to support Steve. But as I say, there's a lot going on in the battlefield all at once at the moment. But as you can see here, I've turned my Spartans to face that Julii threat. But there's a lot of Julii infantry attacking our SBQR ally there. And you can see Lando, don't forget, has been fighting right from the beginning of the battle. His troops are going to be tired and very battle depleted. Their morale's going to be low. Can you see that Germanic cavalry coming in? Looking like they're just going to finish off Lando's infantry, and that cavalry going in and bang, as it smashes into our allies' SBQR troops there. That could be the nail in the coffin for Lando's infantry. Right, okay. Let's just pause the game. After a terrific fight, all of Lando's infantry in our centre has now been taken out. So our centre has now been broken. Okay, Steve and Lee is over on our right flank there, still fighting Pontus. I'm over on the left flank being engulfed by Julii troops there. Can you see those Julii troops surrounding me and engulfing my battle damaged infantry? Okay, but our centre has now been broken, and the enemy now can move that cavalry around as they want and that Julii infantry around as they want now to attack us. So after a fierce fight there, I think that our centre held quite well, but in the end there, with the enemy cavalry in behind us and the advantage they had with that cavalry, I think that was only it was going to happen sometime there. Right, if you notice here, can you see Lee is running his SBQR infantry forward into the enemy Pontus pikemen. Remember, Lee's infantry only got 6 infantry, but he's got 7 upgrades: an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. But as I say, the enemy now in the centre can move either to either flank to start taking us out. That Germanic cavalry there still moving around, and the enemy have got their chariots in behind us as well. Nice hit here by Trajan's cavalry into the rear of Lee's SBQR infantry there. That was a nice hit there by Trajan. I noticed Trajan's been a really good supporting player all over the battlefield. He's had infantry and cavalry units supporting his team all over the battlefield here. But as you can see, my Greek city units there, I'm now going to start turning them to face the main threat of those Julii infantry which are behind me, and I'm looking to take out that Julii general if I can. Right, you can see that all that Germanic cavalry in behind us there. And bang, as that cavalry smashes into the into our allies' SPQR units there. Okay, Lee spotted the danger there, look, and has turned his infantry from facing Pontus to try and neutralise the enemy cavalry attack behind us there. If you notice, Steve is moving his spear units forward there to try and neutralise a cavalry attack. There, as I say, the enemy cavalry advantage is told there behind us. Over on our left flank, I am now targeting that Julii general. Those of you that have seen my other battle videos will know that when there's an enemy general in sight, I will go for that general, and I'm now targeting that enemy Julii general. If you look at the men I've got left in the units there, you can see a lot of my units have been extremely battle depleted. Okay, but as I say, I will be going for that Julii general, looking to take him out if I can. Okay, so that's my target there, the Julii general. Let's say you can see a lot of enemy Germanic cavalry in behind us, as they've been most of the game, and they have been creating havoc in behind us. As I say, they took out most of our archers. This is a nice move by Steve. Can you see how he's moved his infantry, a couple of his units around the flank of the enemy team there, so that he can attack the weak part of that enemy formation, the flank. As I say, you don't need to attack a barricaded front door. If you go around the flank or go around the rear, you might find the back door open, if you see what I mean. Right, that Germanic cavalry charging into Lee's SPQR infantry again then. Let's say he's got 8 upgrades on that Germanic cavalry. You see that Carthage Sacred Band cavalry unit going into Lee's units there. But remember, that experience stripe that Lee's got in his infantry will help them fight longer. Right, as you can see here, my Greek city units, I'm still going for that enemy Julii general. Okay, that's what I'm concentrating on, the Julii general there. But as I say, that Germanic cavalry is still behind us there, causing havoc. Okay, but I can see that I think the Germanic general has just been routed there, and most of that Germanic cavalry has now been routed as well. But as I say, with my Spartans, there you go, I've managed to rout the enemy Julii general there. Okay, so I'm pleased with that. We've taken out most of the enemy troops that was attacking. Look, I've got 9 men in one unit, 21 men, 12 men in another unit, 9 men in another unit, 6 men in that unit, 21, 8 men in that unit, 9 men in that unit, so 5 men in that unit. So you can see my infantry has been extremely battle depleted there during the course of the battle. Just goes to show how tough it is. I can see there's still a chariot archer unit in behind us there. Lee's units have been very battle depleted as well. As I say, I thought Steve did extremely well over on that right flank, bearing in mind he was fighting the whole of the Pontus army there, plus he was fighting Sacred Band units. You can see his units battle depleted. Look, 3 men in that one unit there, but his general unit still got 59 men in, so that's good, giving morale to the rest of his troops. So I said, there was a lot going on all over the battlefield here, but you can see where the main part of the battlefield, the most intense part of the battlefield, was here along this battle line there. You can see just how many piles of dead all along this particular part of the battlefield here. As you can see, really intense all the way along there. So that was as I say, very, very intense there. And I think we've taken out most of the enemy team there. There might be a few archer units left now, but it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. I say there's a few enemy units left, but my guess is they will probably admit defeat. Let's say at this stage of the battle, like we've talked about in other battle videos, when the battle is kind of clearly over, it's best really to admit defeat so we can get back into the lobby and get another game hosted there. As I say, a lot of the enemy team now are admitting defeat. So just look at Lee's infantry, 13 men in that one unit. He's got 45 in that one, 33, 41. So he's still got quite a lot of numbers left in his units, but as you can see, they are battle depleted there. Okay, so there you go. You can see that it was a close victory. Okay, it was a close victory there. As I said, as I watched the battle there, I thought it would be close. Now, if you notice that old Spartan army of mine, remember that could be, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, has managed to scrape in the most kills. So I'm happy with the army and the formation there. As I say, that old formation seemed to do quite well as well. So I'm pleased with that. If you notice, so can you see the enemy team, Mars and Trajan, got the second and third highest kills. So really well done to them. Second and third highest kills there. So that was really well played, guys. I thought that was really well done there. As you can see, it was a very close battle there. And I'd just like to say really well played to Bark, Mars, Trajan and Crypto. Really well played, guys. I thought you played through. And if you look at the faction here, can you see we've got 2 Greek cities, 2 Romes against Carthage, Pontus, Rome and Germania. So I think we had faction advantage there. So actually, I mean, the other team did extremely well against our faction advantage, I think, to be honest with you, to get a close victory. I thought Brotherhood member Bark, Brotherhood member Mars, Brotherhood member Trajan and Brotherhood member Crypto, I thought you guys played extremely well to make this a close battle. As I say, with the faction advantage that I think we had there, I think, you know, for you guys to make it a close victory, really well played to you 4. Great game there. But also, let's say, really well played to Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, Brotherhood member Lando and Brotherhood member Lee. Really well played, guys. A lot of nice support work there all over the battlefield. I thought you 3 played extremely well there. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed this battle. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.